Okay, we are live.
All right. Hi, everyone, and a very, very warm welcome to all the viewers on the inaugural episode of the Football Fanspire podcast. This is your host, Jaideep Gandhi. And as the name suggests, Fanspire Football Podcast, this is a podcast where we are going to discuss everything about football. We the podcast is for the fans and by the fans, and there's a hashtag created specially for that, and we are looking forward to having some wonderful fans, passionate fans representing their clubs and who are going to express their views and comments uh, before the football games or after the football games. So very quickly, we are going to now introduce the panelists for the evening, and we got a very nice panel lined up today. We're going to start with the Chelsea fan who's come today, Sri Krishna Palekar. There's a Real Madrid fan, Leon Correa. There's a Barcelona fan, Pranav Gyanchandani. There's a Bayern Munich fan, a 12-year-old Kahan Goregaonkar. Manchester City fan, Joshua Godino. And finally, Juventus fan, Rohan Vajani. So, warm welcome to all of you. And we hope we have a very good time on this podcast today. Now, the flavor of the month is undoubtedly the European football, and we are going to be discussing the Champions League football. But before we move on to the Champions League, we're going to very quickly have a look at the Europa League quarterfinal draws that are now complete. The games were played 2 days back, and we had some very interesting games. And here's the quarterfinals draw. Some excellent matches lined up. Inter versus Leverkusen should be a fabulous game. Shakhtar Basel, Manchester United, Copenhagen, and Wolves versus Sevilla. So we got some fantastic games. Before I proceed further, all the viewers are requested. We sincerely hope you like this show. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the channel on the YouTube. So let's move on to the panel. And first part of the segment is going to be, we are going to be covering last night's game, and we had two very exciting games. We had Manchester City playing Real Madrid, and we have the Real Madrid fan, a disappointed Real Madrid fan, if I may add, Leon, and we have Joshua, the Manchester City fan, who should be a little bit over the moon. And of course, there's Rohan, the Juventus fan. And I'm going to give a very quick brief about all the three panelists. They all have very interesting background. Leon, the Real Madrid fan, is a third year engineering student, whereas against Joshua, and yeah, Joshua is a software engineer. Fantastic. Nice to have you guys here on the show. And Rohan Vajani, he's an entrepreneur and he's pursuing IAS. Fabulous. So we got a nice mix out here. And without further ado, let's dive into last night's game. So, Joshua, your take on the last night's game?
Well, I was a bit nervous before the game. I was getting these goosebumps because obviously it's Real Madrid and it's the Champions League. They have this bond with each other. But then as the game started and as we scored the first goal, I was over the moon. I felt this confidence that, we can get this UCL this time. And taking down Real Madrid was like a big step for us, for the UCL.
Yes, so that was a dream start. And Leon, what do you have to say about Varane? Before the game started, I think all eyes were on the second central defender, that is Militao, who was replacing Ramos, and everyone was nervous about him. But it was Varane who had a absolute stinker of a game.
Yes, it was a bit unexpected of him, but he's had a terrific season and two mistakes. I think since he's joined from 2012, I haven't seen him making such blunders, and then he goes out and makes two of them in such a big game. It's quite shocking, yeah.
So you think it was the pressure of the fact that Ramos was not there next to him, and he thought he needed to take some extra responsibility?
Yeah, I think it played a part. Of course, he's been part of the best defense in Europe this season with Ramos, and not having his captain and the best defender in Europe next to him. I think he needed to step up and he failed, unfortunately.
All right. Let's get back to the Real Madrid, the Manchester City fan, Joshua. Raheem Sterling, he just can't stop scoring goals. That was his 100th goal yesterday for Manchester City. I think 11 since the lockdown has begun.
Yeah. Well, firstly, I would like to say that it's the lineup as I predicted it before. There was everything correct except for one player, and that was Foden. And
Okay.
turns out Foden's enthusiasm and Jesus is playing false nine and keeping Sterling on the right wing. That worked tremendously for us. Although Mendy did hold up Sterling on the right wing, but Sterling did manage to push it up a bit.
All right. So that's what Pep Guardiola is known for, his tactical genius, keeping the opposition guessing, and that's what he ended up doing yesterday. I think he did something very similar in the first leg, had Zidane on his toes, kept him guessing about how he's going to be lining up and playing. So, yes, and you managed quite a comfortable win in the absence of Aguero, who's your talisman and arguably the best striker in the European football right now.
Yeah, well, Aguero is missing, major missing, and I never thought Jesus would perform so extremely well since in his absence. But turns out Jesus is in his top form right now.
All right. So coming back to the Real fan, Leon,
Yes, sir.
very disappointing for Zidane, who's had an amazing ride in the Champions League football. I think this was his first loss in knockout games, which is mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling. But do you think there's a need for Real Madrid to revamp the squad and freshen up the squad?
Not exactly revamp, but I think there's need to look for long-term replacements for players such as Modric or Ramos, even Bale and Benzema. They're somewhere
Yeah.
around 33 or 34. So I think they have maybe 1 or 2 seasons in their prime left, and we need to find good replacements. We have Militao for Ramos, but he's just a squad player. He's not someone like your Virgil van Dijk or your Rafael Varane who will start every game. So we need
Okay.
some big player for him. Also for Modric, I think we have Ceballos, who's on loan to Arsenal. Is sort of similar player, plays box to box, and he's quite young, 21, 22, so he can fill that role. But I think,
All
yeah,
right.
we need maybe 3 or 4 signings.
Okay. A quick word on Gareth Bale. That's a unthinkable situation. What's your take on it?
Gareth Bale, I think it's a lost cause. He's 30, 31 now, and I think no team can afford his wages. His wages are somewhere around 5 lakh pounds per week or something. And I think he will see the rest of his contract 2 years. He'll try to milk it and maybe move on to MLS or China or somewhere. I don't
My
see him
God.
taking a pay cut and joining any other European team like Alexis Sanchez did, because I think Bale has lost his hunger for the game. He's not some 23 or 24 years old guy who's trying to impress his coaches or the. He's past his prime. He's won everything there is to win. He's won 4 Champions Leagues. So I think,
Leon,
yeah,
I'm flabbergasted to hear that you think he's going to actually play one more season at Real, sitting on the
uh,
bench.
he's sir. He's not going to play actually, but he will just earn the money. Staying at home.
All right,
He's
that's a sad
Yeah.
situation. I think he should be looking for regular first team football. My take is possibly he will make a move. He will try to wrangle out of it, try to make it a win-win situation, try to get some money for Real, and he can still fetch a substantial amount. Very quickly, let's move on to the City fan, and the quarterfinal opponent is lined up for you, and it's Olympic Lyonnais, and they had a brilliant game. I remember Memphis Depay before the game, he was very confident that we could beat Juventus in their own turf, and that's what they did. So, what's your take on this round of eight or your quarterfinal opponent?
Well, I think I should say that if we keep playing like how we are right now, maintaining the possession, short passes, I think we should score the first 2 goals and then hold out a win.
All right. So it's a very tantalizingly poised tie in the sense that it's a knockout game. Olympic Lyonnais should be thrilled to play a knockout game with Manchester City, because they would, I think, struggle over two legs against the might of Manchester City. So it's going to be like a T20 of the football. And I think it's going to be a very open game. So it'll be very exciting. We're going to move now to Rohan, the Juventus fan. He's a huge Cristiano Ronaldo fan. And in spite of the fact that at one time it looked like there's going to be a miracle, Juventus were going to come back. They were down 1 goal, 2 down on aggregate. Ronaldo fired 2 goals. Brilliant goal that he scored with his left footer, but it was just not to be.
I know.
Rohan.
I think when you have Mr. Champions League in your team, there is nothing you always hope that you will always qualify, even with a 2 goal defeat. I think we just had a bad luck last night, and I think the team did not perform collectively. I would not blame the midfield, but I think midfield was the main reason we did not go through, because we had zero creativity in the midfield. There was zero, and I think I can say that you need the striker to score, but to score you need the the wing backs, the midfield to give a good cross so that your striker score. And Higuain, I don't think so. He's capable of playing the team right now.
All right, so there's a lot of upheaval at Juventus too. Sarri's contract seems to be up in the air now after this loss. Ronaldo, I think this was his first loss in the round of 16 since 2009, I think. So I'm expecting a lot of things happening behind the scene as such.
I just read Sarri sacked now.
He's sacked.
He's sacked.
That's breaking. Oh my God! Wow. There we go. I didn't know about it. So there we go. Juventus is wasting no time.
But to be honest, I think you should not. I mean, I cannot blame the coach if your team does not perform. I mean, with the midfield, I think no coach would actually qualify in the next round, because seeing the midfield, I would not want Sarri to go, because I personally like Sarri ball. I think he should be given 1 or 2 years more.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
bring in more, like Arthur. Arthur is a very good player.
Yes.
You need a young player who's.
Swap. Your take on the swap deal happening out there? You happy with it?
I think we are the winner in the swap, to be honest.
Okay.
Because we're getting a younger midfielder who has a lot of years to give in to the team, and I think we are the winner in the swap deal, and I hope he turns out to be.
So Sarri went on record to say in the post-match interview that Juventus is cursed. You think that may be the decisive statement, and that is the reason why he got the sack?
I think being the coach of such a huge team, I think that's the word.
Uncalled for statement.
Yeah, exactly.
True, so I agree. I agree. Okay, that's wonderful. So we had these lovely fans out here, the Manchester City fan, the Real Madrid fan, the Juventus fan. And whilst we continue with the discussion, I would request all the viewers to please express yourself in the comment section. Please write whatever you feel. If you have any questions, please write to us. We would love to hear from you guys. So keep the interaction going. And before we move on to now previewing tonight's game, I have a fantastic footballing question which is open to everyone, and it's slightly long drawn out question, but I'm going to read it out. The first person to answer this correctly is going to get a prize from the podcast, and it's Chups. As you can see, the brand Chups flip flop, and don't be put away by the fact that it's just flip flop. This is worth almost $1,000. So please go for it. Try to answer the question. The first person getting the correct answer. The backroom admins are looking at the comments section, and they will be looking out for the correct answer. So here we go. The question is a very interesting one. It's dated 2 years back. This is the time when Arsene Wenger was at Arsenal. This was the game which took place at the New Year's Eve. Arsenal were playing West Brom, and Arsene Wenger had a bust up with the referee. And he abused the referee, for which he was given a 3-match ban. So in the post-match, when one of the reporters asked him what do you plan to do since you got a 3-match ban and you cannot participate in any of the games? Arsenal went on record saying that, listen, I've got plenty of time. I might actually attend the swearing in ceremony of a certain president of a country who was recently elected. The question here is, whom was he referring to? Who was the president that he was referring to? And what was his connection to football? Again, I shall repeat, Arsene Wenger said during the 3-match ban, he planned to attend the swearing in ceremony of a certain president who was recently elected. Who was the president that he was referring to, and what was his connection to football? So that's a question for the evening. I'm hoping that the viewers are going to start using their gray cells and start exercising uh, their footballing knowledge and come up with the right answer. So whilst viewers are doing this, we now move on to the next segment of the show, of the podcast, and that is now we are going to be previewing tonight's game. Two very interesting games. Tonight we have Bayern Munich hosting Chelsea, and there's the other big game which is poised on a knife edge, and that is Barcelona versus Napoli. So we would like to welcome the three panelists with us who are there today. Let me start with the youngest one, that's Kahan Goregaonkar, 12-year-old, 7th standard student of St. Mary's ICSE, a passionate footballer himself, passionate Bayern Munich supporter. He's a winger like Arjen Robben, and he's amongst the very few privileged guys who was visiting Munich last year, and he was at the Allianz Arena, he was at the Zabnerstrasse. So that is Kahan for you. The second person that we have today with us is Pranav. Pranav is the Barcelona fan, and Pranav Gyanchandani, that's his full name. He's pursuing CA and he's interning at Deloitte. So fabulous credentials for Pranav. So we got a mixed bag out here. We got a 12-year-old, we got a Pranav who's an intern, and finally we have the Chelsea fan, Shrikant Palekar, who actually runs a football club, Hope FC. Fabulous. That is so amazing diversity in our panelists tonight. So let's straight away get down to the Chelsea fan, and that is Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna coming back from a 3-goal deficit at home, traveling to Munich with a raft of injuries. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in Lampard's shoes tonight. I think you're missing 6 to 7 players tonight. How do you think Lampard's going to approach tonight's game?
See, I personally feel it's a hit and miss kind of a game. We should just go for it. There is too much tactical and planning doesn't work in this in such a situation. If you think we just somehow need to score goals. Basically, I think the way Chelsea has selected the squad for whatever they have taken to Germany, they are considering this as like a very high-end practice session. If you see, I mean, I won't be surprised if we don't see any great will to win the match. Though, as a person who follows football, plays football, and somebody a legend like Lampard should always obviously go for a win, no matter what. I mean, this is just like a reverse fixture of what happened last year at Anfield, but that was a home fixture. This is an away one. But I think, irrespective of whatever Messi did at Nou Camp, Liverpool went for the game. Liverpool wasn't carrying probably Salah, and even I suppose Firmino was missing in that game, and still they managed to get a result. So I think the best way to go for it is just, and right now in the situation where you find that there are no crowds in the stadium, probably the entire stadium should be treated just like another venue, because without the crowd, the word stadium doesn't stand much chance.
True. There's no home advantage for Bayern Munich, so they can just go out there and express themselves without any pressure. Kahan, you just heard.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm just going to move to Kahan. Kahan, you just heard the Chelsea fan, and how do you see Bayern Munich approaching?
Yes, so Chelsea already they're playing away, and the thing is that Bayern already have a 3-0 lead, and Bayern, in fact, the attack is very strong. Muller, he's got just an incredible amount of assists, and then of course Lewandowski in front of the goal. The amount of finishes and the goals he's scoring are amazing. We won't be taking any risks in the defense, so we'll play Alba and Boateng. And since Pavard is injured, mostly Kimmich is used to the right back position. So we're expecting a strong performance. And then Davies is just lightning fast. So he's got an amazing run on the wing. So that's positive for us.
Okay. So Kahan has brought up Kimmich is possibly going to be playing right back, and that the reason being is that Benjamin Pavard is out of this game. He's injured, and he probably missed the early start of the season as well. So there's going to be a slight shuffle out there, and it will be interesting to see who takes charge of the Bayern midfield. Kahan, you got to also remember that in spite of the fact that Chelsea may have their injury woes, we've seen some amazing comebacks in Champions League football. Last year, Liverpool came back from 3-goal deficit. The year before that, Roma beat Barcelona coming back from a same deficit. Year before that, Barcelona beat Paris Saint-Germain coming back from a 4-goal deficit. So we've had this history of comebacks. You think something of that sort is going to happen tonight?
Yes, so we can't be simply overconfident and complacent. We have to be careful and we have to play our normal game and we have to go all out even though we have a 3-0 lead. So it's not going to be easy.
Right. So well said, Kahan, because you got to remember that Bayern had not played football for a month. So that's something Sri Krishna also mentioned, that they've just played one friendly game against Marseille, and that was a week back. Absolutely no competitive football. Yes, they may be completely fresh and raring to go, but they have absolutely no kind of momentum. So you think that could play a part, Sri Krishna? Unmute, Sri Krishna. You need to unmute.
Yeah. I personally feel this would not play any effect in the match, because if you see a team like Bayern would definitely go for the jugular right now. I don't think they're going to show any mercy. This would be somewhat like the Germany-Brazil match which happened in the 2014 World Cup. They are going to come with a bulldozer and try to roll us over. That is what is going to happen. That is my prediction. So Chelsea, without I think any inhibitions about what's going to happen, should really go for it. And maybe if there will be a bad, but there is no point going for a 0-0 kind of a game. I mean, unless if you are experimenting something in terms of wanting to test a new formation or a defense right now, this could be a good opportunity to do it against probably one of the most fantastic attacks in the world. But apart from that, this match is more or less very customary. Yes, obviously, as a fan, I would always want a comeback to happen. I mean, there are no two things about it. We'll all us fans live and watch football for things like that. I mean, I mean, even if it is somebody else's club, we would always like to go in for and watch a match that keeps us on the edge of our seats. So that's always given.
All right, wonderful, Sri Krishna. So before I now move on to the Barca fan, and that is, I just want to again remind the viewers, please let the comments come through. Please express yourself. Whatever we have discussed, if you have an opinion, please text it in the chat box and we'll probably read it out. We are also going to be announcing the winner at the end of the show for the question that we have asked. I just checked the chat list and I do see a correct answer out there. So we're going to now move on to the Barca fan who's there with us, a disappointed Barca fan, I'm sure. And Pranav, very quickly. I'm sorry. He's not going to be disappointed. He's just going to be disappointed with the way the La Liga has ended. And Lionel Messi has warned that if we continue playing the way we have in the La Liga, we could end up losing against Napoli. The game is at the knife's edge. Your take on it, Pranav?
Yeah, so this La Liga season, basically we have had too many ups and downs. There have been performances where we have been exceptional, and there have been performances where we have just been shambolic. So we have lost to Osasuna 2-1 at home. That was second last game of the season. So it is not that we can take this easy, that this game is on our home turf, and Napoli being a mid-table team in Italy, it is not going to be that easy. It is not that we have, so we cannot rule out on Napoli.
And after last night, since we have our arch rivals out from the league, I think we should be more confident to go and win this match. And we have a very young team that's coming in. We have
Yes.
main midfielders Busquets and Vidal who are suspended, and
Right.
Frankie De Jong is coming in after an injury. So the
Okay.
midfield, I think, is going to be a bit shaky, but
All right.
I think we should pull this off.
Okay, that's interesting because Napoli is going to be tough customers. The tie is on a knife edge, and Barca at home, as you just mentioned, they've already lost at home to quite a few teams this season. Unthinkable, actually, at Nou
Yeah.
Camp to lose games. But it has happened, unfortunately. And there is going to be a bit of experiment. You have Ansu Fati who will be coming in. Just for the viewers and a bit of a trivia, Ansu Fati is the youngest scorer in the history of Champions League football at the age of 17. I think you're expecting Pui to also be in the midfield. He's going to be
Uh,
coming in for Busquets or
no, I think the starting midfield would be Rakitic, De Jong, and Roberto.
Roberto. All right. So that's still a very strong midfield. There's still a, I
Yes.
asked this question. I asked this question to Rohan, the Juventus fan, about the swap happening about Arthur and Pjanic. Your take on it? Are you
So
happy with it?
basically, we weren't happy at all because looking at Arthur perform so well, as in we just found our perfect replacement for Xavi after 3 years. So basically,
Okay.
that was a shocking move, and Arthur was a player who was loved by all Barca fans. But even
Right.
after the transfer happened, the way Arthur has been dealing with the club, I don't think it's very professional. Like he
All
has
right.
released a statement that he won't play for the club, which I don't think is professional by him.
Right.
But the positive side on this is that Pete will be getting more chances next year. And
Okay.
also, Pjanic
All
is a top class player who will be a good part in the team. So I
okay.
think next season Peak should show more top class performances, and maybe based on that he may also qualify for Euro Cup.
All right. Okay. Fantastic. So before we end this podcast, a bit of a trivia. There are questions coming in from the viewers, and okay, let's take up this question before I give a trivia. The question is for Shri Krishna. What are your views with VAR? Yes, you. I think before the show we did bring up, and there was a lot of controversy happening yesterday in the Juventus game. So Shri Krishna, would you like to answer that one?
Yeah. So basically, VAR is a. I mean, to just give you a history about it. I mean, I have been a Chelsea fan, a Frank Lampard fan, and we have been as a Chelsea fan, we have been mentally massacred by wrong decisions throughout. Luis Garcia ghost goal. You talk about the Overboo incident in 2009, and then there is the Frank Lampard ghost goal, which was never
Yes.
given against Germany in 2010. So I'm not, I think VAR is necessary as a system, but I think there is a lot of refining to be done in terms of how the decisions are called upon with a referee. And there is a definite flaw in VAR where basically all the bodies allow the referee to be the final decision maker despite taking advice from VAR. I think VAR should operate like how third umpire operates in cricket. VAR should be the final authority on the decisions.
Yes.
I mean, if you have seen yesterday's tackle of Bentancur on Owa, the tackle was such a clean tackle. I mean, how in the world any person looking at it in slow motion on TV could miss that? I mean, it's beyond me.
So there's still
Secondly,
a
the
lot of
handball. Yeah.
lot of gray area, what you rightly said, and
Yeah.
that's something which all the UEFA, the respective countries and the FA Cup panels, they need to get together and try to eliminate a lot of gray areas. I don't think even the penalty that was given was a
Yeah.
penalty for a handball in the box,
Yeah,
and
it wasn't. It wasn't. There is a very simple rule in football. So if your body, if your limbs or basically hands are in the line of in the radius of your body or within the
true.
radius circumference of your body, it is not a handball. You cannot cut your
Okay.
elbows off and then rejoin them, right? There is always
Unless the
possibility
elbow
that the
comes
ball is.
out and he's intentionally stopping it, which was not the case.
Yeah,
So yeah, I
that was not at all a case.
fully
Both the
agree.
decisions were very horrible.
Yes,
Very
I
horrible.
fully agree. Shri Krishna, and that's something that needs to be
Yeah.
reviewed by the international footballing bodies, and they need to come together and come out with a proper
And
level playing.
there is no consistency in VAR. I mean, you see the same decisions and the same actions are called upon differently in different games. So I mean, it's a very inconsistent procedure as of now. But obviously, it is
Okay.
necessary going forward. You will always want technology to become a part of the game, but the technology should come in I mean, it should not be a obstacle for the game to fairly progress.
I,
It should focus on. I mean, I don't know. I don't have words for it. What I saw yesterday
no, I
has
get your
really
point. I
riled me
get
up.
your point. It's everyone's interpretation is varying from country to
Very
country and
vague.
from referee to referee. It is varying. So there needs to be a consistent way of judging all the decisions. So we get that point. If there are any
Yeah.
more viewer questions, it's going to flash on the screen. Before that, a very quick trivia. Okay, before I read out this, a quick trivia, which I don't think a Barca fan is going to enjoy. But in this Champions League season, Barcelona have scored 10 goals collectively, whereas Robert Lewandowski has scored 11 goals by himself. So now that's something that the Barcelona team needs to ponder on tonight, where they are going to get their goals from. Okay, we have this question from Dennis Fernandez. Two clubs connected with Ronaldo has the same result. Would Ronaldo at Madrid made a difference? Leon, would you like to take this one?
Yes, sir. Of course, Ronaldo would have made a difference, even if he's not in the best of forms. With Ronaldo in your team, you're already 1-0 up. The game starts, so you already know that okay, he can do something, he can pull something out of his hat, and yeah, he could have made a difference. But the match we lost yesterday was I can't, I don't have words for it actually. But yeah,
It
Ronaldo
was
could have scored one or two more. Benzema scored the only goal. And in this season, a second top scorer has been Ramos. So you can that
right.
sums it up actually.
I get your
There's
point. So
no support for Benzema. We've bought Hazard, and he's basically scored maybe 3 goals in the entire
yes, he's
season.
struggling with injuries, and I think he'll need a full season. A fit Hazard is a fantastic player. We all know that. So it was just one of those off nights, which was bad for Real Madrid, great for Manchester City to come across Real Madrid in this kind of a form. As we discussed, Varane had a howler, which he would like to put behind. He's a quality player. We all know that he's a fantastic defender. So it's just one of those things. All right. Here's another question from Vineet Pawar. Both teams, Juventus as well as Lyon, got controversial penalties. What's your take on that? It's for Rohan. Go for it, Rohan.
Sir, I personally don't like VAR because it kills the
Okay.
passion for the game. You know,
Okay.
so I think the both penalties were controversial. I understand, but the ones we got, I don't think so. After even looking at the VAR, I think uh, the penalty was not given rightly. I think it was
Right.
awarded. I had no words to be honest because I don't think so. That was the penalty in the first case.
Rohan,
It was a clear,
the entire purpose of introducing VAR is to eliminate controversy.
exactly.
What is happening, unfortunately, is that it is creating more controversy, which is what we don't want to see. All right, cool. So, yes, there's one more question here, and this is from Samar Wakharia. Will the ghost of Maradona and Napoli haunt Messi tonight, leading Barca? There we go. Leon, go for it.
Uh, I will the ghost of no, I don't think so. That will be the case tonight. I think the last night was the maybe the best night of our campaign so far with our arch rivals going out and
Yes,
with the
I'm sure you
season
were.
we've had.
And if you're the Barcelona manager, you have got to use that as a motivation that here's
Yeah,
a wonderful opportunity and let's go for it.
but since the past three seasons, what we fans we do not see the passion from our managers. Both Valverde and Setien, I don't see the control over the players by the managers. So that has been a problem for us since the last 3 seasons. And
Okay.
maybe we will be very confident tonight going out. And I think Luis Suarez will be the key player tonight.
All right.
Since past 2 3 years, he has been not scoring any away goals. So maybe tonight he will uh, a home game will boost his confidence for the upcoming fixtures. And any which
All right.
ways, if we move on ahead from over here, there is a high possibility that we face Bayern in the quarters.
Yeah,
Which,
absolutely.
yeah. So
Absolutely.
I don't think that is a realistic option that we defeat Bayern with the season we've had.
The kind
But
of team and the season
yeah,
you've had here.
and we have a very good young team going out tonight. 9 players
But
are from Barca B and La Masia. Yeah.
uh, Pranav, again taking up from the question that Samar has just posed to you. You think it's sometimes unfair comparison between Messi and Maradona? Maradona having won the World Cup. Of course, the Napoli, he is the absolute hero of Napoli. But leave aside the Napoli factor because that's got nothing to do with Messi. But sometimes you think it's completely unfair comparing Maradona and Messi, especially when it comes to playing for Argentina.
Uh, when it comes to Argentina, I don't think it is really unfair to compare both the players. Both the players have been really carrying the whole country's shoulders on their back. But yes, definitely, I really don't know what kind of team did Maradona have with him. As in the stories we've heard, it was basically
So,
one man show.
Pranav,
But yeah,
Pranav, I'm going to interrupt you on that because I've actually seen that old man play at his prime. And let me assure you, he didn't have half as good team as Lionel Messi has, or he didn't have half as good as players as Lionel Messi has around him. He was phenomenal. He used to literally carry the team with him. And he would bring out the best of all the average players around him. So that was the greatness of Diego Maradona.
yes, but with the competitiveness in the teams we have in basically this decade, and with the way Argentina has performed, like they have reached 4 finals and even a World Cup final. So
Yes,
but they have been really unlucky to pull off the victory in the finals. So
correct.
comparisons can be drawn, but if the luck was on Argentina's side, maybe Messi would have been on the top of it.
Yes. Case of ifs and buts. And
Yeah,
yeah, maybe Messi, time is running out, but you never know. The next World Cup, possibly. And he could still be a Argentina hero. Of course, he is an Argentina hero. He can just
yeah,
cap it up with the World Cup win, which Argentinians are looking forward since 1986, I think. So
yeah.
there we go. All right. If we have any more questions from the viewers, I don't think so. What we can do is we can announce, yes, that's a quick look at the draw, and the final part of the jigsaw is going to be completed tonight. We already know Manchester City is going to be taking on Lyon. We have Leipzig playing Atletico Madrid, Atlanta will be playing Paris Saint-Germain. All these games are happening on a neutral territory in Portugal, so no real advantage. And tonight the final part of the jigsaw will be completed when we get the winners out of Chelsea, Bayern, and Barca Napoli game. So we are going to announce the winner of the question that we asked sometime before the show. And yes, we got the winner. And the congratulations to Niranjan Bhatija. And the answer was George Via. It's misspelled out there as Wesh, Wesh, but it is George Via. George Via, for the viewers who probably don't know, was brought by Arsene Wenger at Monaco. So that was his connection with George Via. George Via then went from Monaco to Paris Saint-Germain, played almost 4 to 5 years there. Thereafter, he went to AC Milan, and he was a legend at AC Milan, won 2 La Ligas out there. Sorry, the Serie A titles out there. He was the Ballon d'Or winner of 1995. He was a phenomenal footballer. And then, after his playing days were over, he entered politics, and he was the president, elected the president of. Oh, I just forget. He was elected the president of the country, and it just I've gone a little blank, but I'll get it eventually. And which is a phenomenal achievement, and that is where Arsene Wenger was planning to visit for the swearing-in ceremony of George Weah. So that was the correct answer. Congratulations to Niranjan Batija. And with this, we are going to call it a wrap on this football podcast, the inaugural football podcast. I hope all of you enjoyed the show. Niranjan, please, if you can just text your email address or contact details to the backroom staff, and they will get in touch with you with the price. And I sincerely hope all the viewers thoroughly enjoyed the podcast, and we are looking forward to a lot of participation from the football fans, and we will be back again next week. So till then, goodbye. A big thank you and a big shout out to all the panelists, wonderful panelists, very passionate football fans that we had tonight. So thank you very much. Till we meet again. Goodbye.